Well, hi everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you all. It is good to be here. It is 11 a.m. We're just starting to gather at the Oracle of Whimsy's brunch table. So we're just letting everybody, we'll just spend the next couple of minutes saying hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Dr. Whimsy. Actually, the Oracle of Whimsy, my alter ego, the Oracle of Whimsy, is going to be running the show today. So good to see everybody here. I am broadcasting live from somewhere in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon, the greatest city in America. So says the Oracle of Whimsy. Anyway, while you're all gathering here, welcome, welcome. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody that has taken time out of their day to join me on this beautiful Sunday to have brunch. We have a couple remote views to go through. Then after we will do the remotes, we will do a community prayer, which is called the Empath's Prayer. We'll give you guys a community reading today, and then after the community reading, we'll have some time. We will do what are called some blitzes, some 5-minute readings based on whatever topics you folks want to talk about. But before we do all of that, let's go ahead and give gratitude to everybody that decided to be with us today on Sunday to share brunch. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, it would really mean a lot to me if you could like, subscribe, who knows, maybe even become a member of this channel. It would be most appreciated. We do have memberships, both at the Fairies and Angels level, which is fun. We get together and we do fun videos and we hang out on Saturdays. And then heart-centered remote viewing classes are going to be starting up again in the fall. I am working on your manual. I promise it will be ready. Until then, people at that level, we're doing some nice little videos on healing and stuff, and we're still getting together. We're just not doing formal training quite yet. Let me go ahead and say hi to everybody. Be sure and say hi to one another at the virtual table. Turn and say hello to the person next to you. Remember that everybody is welcome at our brunch. We only ask that you be kind to one another. We don't tolerate discrimination of any type. There's only one law with the Oracle of Whimsy, and that is be kind to everyone, and then everyone will be kind to you too. So let's go ahead. Where are you? Where are you coming from? And what are you eating? Are you in a restaurant? Are you home? Where are you? Hi, Carla Weekly. You're the first person here. We say hi to you. Mark Rhodes, he is our PR person. Good to see you. I can probably call you tonight, Mark. I fell asleep early last night, so I couldn't get back to you by the time I realized he had sent me a text. Hi, Maria. Good to see you. Hi, Pam. Roxanne Clement in the house. Wonderful to see you. Joanne Burgess, thank you so much for being a member. It's much appreciated. Hi, Cheryl Simonoff. Good to see you. Sandy Clump is in the house. Constance Pleasance, Connor Thomas. Hello, Jill Otero. Wonderful. She's in New Mexico. Are you drinking anything? Are you eating anything? I'm having water. Look at all that beautiful ice. What's great is that, one of my rituals, we all have rituals, is that on Sundays when I get everything set up, I do a little cleaning on Sunday. I get up early. I have a cup of coffee. And then as I fix up the setup to get together with you guys for brunch, I always pack this with a ton of ice about 30 minutes prior and fill it with water. And then as it's slowly melting, but I know I've always got my glass of water there. It's kind of like a nice little ritual. Okay, the water is set. Got to get my priorities straight. I have hot flashes, got to make sure the ice water is there, because I think there was a couple of times when I've come on and I forgot my water and I've been having meltdowns in front of you all, I'm ripping my clothes off. I'm sure somebody enjoys that, but it might be annoying for some of you. Oh, hi, Geocosmic. Geocosmic is both a member. She's also a remote viewer, and she's also an astrologer. Girl got it going on. Be sure and check out her channel, Geocosmic Valentine. She's a wonderful lady. Hi, Barb Young. Good to see you. And Melissa Miller also helping out today. Much appreciated. San Diego's in the house. Nice. Core Smith, New York City. Nice to see it. Joanna Burgess is in Minoket, Maine. Yeah, but what you eating? Vancouver, Washington in the house. Hi, Sandy. Coconut water, yummy, yum, yum. Joyce is having coffee. Lovely. You know, when you go out to brunch with people, are you the person that looks over and sees what everybody else ordered? It's part of the fun of going to brunch, isn't it? We want to see where other people are what the scenery is like. Now, are you looking out at the mountains? I mean, and how good is the food? I always love it when people watch the channel from a restaurant somewhere and they set up their phone and they've got their earpiece and they're sitting there eating their hash and eggs or whatever, and then they're like saying, "Oh, I'm at Denny's" or what. I think it's very funny. Hi, Desiree. Good to see you. Thanks for being a member and helping out today as a moderator. Hi, Joyce. All right. So I think that we've got enough people here. Hi, New York. Karina's in the house. Lovely. Wildflowers and Songbirds is having coffee. You and I together. All right, so just to let you know a little bit about what we are playing for today, we get together, we play, we have fun, no cruelty. Even if you don't like the politics of Republicans, please don't refer to Republicans as Repubs. We don't name call here. It's just not. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a voice of hate. Let's not do that. We're better than that. We don't want to be hurting people. All right, so today we are working again with Google. We have partnered with them. So far, $2 million has been raised for global food relief. Now, this is a global food relief program that was started by Google, but anybody can donate. And it's just because the world is having a food shortage because of what's going on in Ukraine. So it's not just Ukraine that's getting the food aid, it's also Africa and other parts of the world. And it's overseen by the United Nations, was picked up by Google. So that is who we have partnered with for today's donations. Does that work for you folks? Does that work? Hunger was the number one concern of this group. Hunger and inflation when I asked, and so we're staying with inflation. But if you guys want me to switch to an animals rights group, like rescuing animals, we can do that next week. But for the time being, most people are just concerned about inflation, and people are losing their homes. They can't afford food, so we gotta. That's why it's the priority right now. Yeah, and vulnerable people get used and manipulated, and that's not okay. And so, yeah, we're not into it. We're not bullies. We're not into it. Hi, Sam Nomad. Thank you for giving World Food Program relief a $20 donation. It's most appreciated. Spicy chai tea and icy water for Joanne. Okay, so is everybody ready for the remote views today? Thank you, Anonymous, for that $5 donation. And Melanie DeRocher has also donated to World Food Relief. Thank you so much, $20. You know, when you think about how much it cost to buy food, one plate of food for a person with food relief is like 25 cents. They can get the price down to like 25 cents. When you think about someone like Melanie donating $20, you know, that's a lot of meals she just bought. I mean, rice, beans, and vegetables, 25 cents to feed a kid. And sometimes we think that we're not doing any good in the world, but boy, $20 is a lot of money for some people, or $5. But you think about 25 divided by 500, that's a lot of meals. Oh, hi, Anne. You're in New Hampshire. Lovely. It's a beautiful part of the world. Okay, so a couple things going on. Remember when we had talked about the fact that things are getting hot? Thank you, B. Gray, for that food donation. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. It's getting hot in here. Woo, woo, woo. Remember that whole energy? Hi, Michigan. Oh, lovely, Joanna. Lovely. Thank you, Lilliput, for the $10 donation. So we're now in the summer. Please be careful if you. Does anybody here have plans to be in Britain or Europe this week? They say don't come. It's 114 degrees in Paris. 300 people have died. So from the perspective of the remote viewer. Oh, I already typed it out. Oh, you didn't get notified? Well, I always put it in the comments section the night before, so all you have to do is go to the community page, and there'll be a link, and you can just click on it, and I always start at around between 11 and 11:05, depending upon if I'm on time. Hi, Canada. Good to see you. So basically, we have the temperatures through the roof, both in Europe and in the United States, wildfires, etc. One of the things I really want to emphasize to people right now, because we knew this was coming, is just the importance of cooler heads prevail. Don't get swept up in the heat, because Europe is breaking records now. Like we said, 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Britain is also going to be over 40 grad this week. So again, just please take care of yourselves and be mindful that it's really important to cooler heads prevail. Now, in terms of the heat, we had talked about the fact that the intelligence agencies would be under investigation, that all roads lead to the intelligence agencies, bribes, disgruntled employees at the federal level. Does everybody remember that? Does everybody remember that a long time ago when we started following Mueller's investigation and we just let ourselves be the ball? Right? We use HCRV, be the ball. So we threw ourselves into the energy and we wound up at the Capitol steps. Then we had January 6th happen at the Capitol steps. So what Mueller was saying in the remotes is that the corruption had been going on for a very, very long time, and that the bribes had been going on, people in Congress and our intelligence agencies, and the situation was very, very serious in terms of the breaches, and that eventually it would lead to an expose that would land on the Capitol steps, and it would show evidence that members of Congress had been bribed. Does everybody remember that? Okay, we're we're there. So let's talk about it. Now that we're there, see, here's the frustration for the remote viewers and for the people that watch the show. We were there. We were in the records 3 years ago, weren't we? So I think the frustration is that January 6th happened at all. Why did January 6th happen? We knew where the investigation was headed. We knew where the vulnerabilities were. We knew what Putin was planning. He said he wanted to be the Tsar of Russia and that he wanted the lights of Moscow to shine on the world. So now we're entering August. It's July 17th. We have supposedly it's supposed to be the last. Are they saying that it's going to be the last of them? The last planned are next week. So that puts us at late July. Not even close. I can't imagine that the American people would be happy with it closing right now when we just started to get to the main meat of the investigation, according to Mueller and the FBI, which was the fact that they had been compromised. This was the investigation, and they had been bribed. So if they shut it down now, how do you folks feel about that when we knew 3, 4 years ago where this was gonna go? It's like, if you cut it off now, you haven't cut the head off the beast, have you? Because the head of the beast is what? Dark money. Dark money in the hands of people. It's the Panama Papers, it's the Pandora Papers, it's the people that didn't register as foreign lobbyists, which is basically code word for compromised. So then we have a list of people that are gonna start coming out as having some shell corporations and dealing that people that were potentially bribed. And that's problematic. So you have some people that know how to be very, very careful in terms of not taking a bribe, and then you have other people who are literally pulled completely into it, and I can't say that their careers are stable in Congress. Thank you, Catherine, for that donation. It's very kind of you, and as well to Anonymous. I mean, I can't energetically feel like Lindsey Graham's career is stable. The thing is that I have a real hard time. Mitch McConnell, that guy is slippery. It's hard to get anything on him because he will do things that are slippery, but they are not illegal. It's almost like Nixon. If the president orders it, it is not illegal, kind of thing. This idea that I am a king. But Mitch McConnell, man, he's so slippery. I have a real hard time seeing anything. He may retire early due to health problems, but Lindsey Graham, on the other hand, I think Lindsey Graham, this could cost him. But yeah, the main takeaway here is heat in Europe, heat all over the country. And the other concern here as a remote viewer is that civil war is imminent. I think that Malcolm Nance might be wrong in the sense that that would have been the case if Trump had won a second term. But because it's gonna be real hard to get rid of Merrick Garland and this investigation. And it looked like within 1 month, Merrick Garland would start prosecuting people. So August is hot. August is a very, very hot time. You know, it's a time when it's a hot lamp under the people in charge. I think the takeaway question for a lot of us is, we voted for you to be servants of the American people and to be people that were gonna follow the social contract of the Constitution. We trusted you. We gave you our money. You took massive amounts of our hard-earned money. We already have depressed wages, and it increasingly has become apparent to the American people that the servants, which is what members of Congress are, they are servants, are acting like they're kings. And the purpose of the revolution was so that people in government would not act like kings, but would be servants serving the people. So the servants rule through service. So the idea was to flip things. And the concern now is that Congress is no longer of the people, by the people, to serve the people. It's now become a get rich. I mean, like Matt Gaetz doesn't exactly make me, when you look at somebody like Matt Gaetz, does he look like somebody who's there for humble reasons to serve the people? Come on, it's a joke. You know, also, Texas, things are getting very, very hot in Texas. So energetically, it's just keep your eyes on Texas. I think federal troops could go in, and I think that if they can't get it together to protect their schools, I wouldn't be surprised if federal troops have gone into schools in the past. If you can't protect our children, if you can't let them go to school without being molested, whether it's due to racism or some crazy person with a gun, then federal troops will escort the children. We've done this before, we'll do it again. But you have this energy over Texas that if necessary, federal troops will come in. You don't talk about sedition. You don't talk about secession, and we're going to leave and take NASA with us, and running around with guns, and kids are. The feds are going to come in. Also, they've been stealing money from the federal government. It always goes back to the same thing in the remotes, which is corruption and theft. Last thing I would like to say about the remotes had to do with the future of artificial intelligence, which I just think is really exciting. I don't did anyone excuse me. Did anyone get to see any of the stuff that I put up on artificial intelligence? They're now developing what they believe is artificial intelligence that can loop. Humans are a strange loop. We are conscious, so we are aware of self. We have an awareness of self. So it was kind of neat to see uh, how computers would be programmed in the future. The concern is that when I went into the remote on AI, I found defense contracts, and that had me concerned. So basically, to reduce the number of soldiers killed, these they're probably robot soldiers, which are less capable of being destroyed. So it's basically like these Power Rangers. So the concern when you go into the energy on the future of AI is that they will probably make soldiers obsolete. So they'll probably make police officers obsolete. The negative and the positive, when I followed the energy, the positive was less racial profiling, more honest policing, less corruption, and in many ways, people, when they did research going forward into the future, people preferred robot police to regular police because they experienced no racial profiling. So, in plainer words, energetically in the vision, the robot police would assess all the variables and threats. It would be, say, a predominantly Black neighborhood, would see everything and say, "This is not a threat. This is just people in a neighborhood minding their own." But he wouldn't pull out a gun and begin shooting. So those kinds of emotional, irrational decisions will be obsolete in the future because police robots will be able to objectively scan for threat, and since they themselves are not going to get killed, and say, "This is not a threat. I can assess that you do not have a gun. You have a phone and are jogging to school because you're going to be late," and which is one of the main reasons why young Black kids get shot, right? They're talking on their phone and they're running to get to class. Why is a Black man running? If a Black man's running, you're supposed to shoot him, right? So that's what's happened in a couple of these cases. Kids just running to school. So that kind of racist profiling theoretically would be obsolete if you were to train computers to police. I think that's actually a good idea. So this is something that Google could be working on with defense. The other is robots in wartime to reduce defense. The other would be robots, flying cars, etc., which would reduce problems with accidents. But the main concern is human bias and emotionalism leading to unnecessary deaths, etc. And that the future of AI, in a way, it's kind of, I think it would be better. If nothing else, you could be a police officer and your assistant is a computer, and then when you go into a dangerous situation, you're about to pull out the gun or do something impulsive because you are only human. If nothing else, then having that AI there, not a threat, not a threat, to at least, do you see how theoretically it could be used to actually diminish? So I think overall, the pros and cons based on this remote, it's much better, uh, and probably leads to what we see as, um, various types of, aliens in the future that might be part human, part, computer. That's possible also. But I thought overall, the takeaway from this is that it would be good for policing, and it could actually eradicate racism in policing, but that probably when this happens, it will be neighborhood to neighborhood, and then the neighborhoods get to decide, do you feel safer with a robot police officer or with Sheriff Clark? You know? Me personally, I would prefer the robot to Sheriff Clark, but that's just me. If it's truly a robot that's proven that it's logical and reasonable and devoid of prejudice, and it's just analyzing data, yeah, give me that. Give me that in my neighborhood. Your son was running for a bus? Oh, did somebody this is what my son's argues for. Yeah. You heard about that kid that was running for the bus, and the cops saw the kid running and running and running, and he had a cell phone. They thought he was running with a gun because who knows what the hell was going on in their fantasy world. Meanwhile, he's just running to catch his bus, and he's talking to a friend on the phone, and you go and get murdered. So those kinds of accidents wouldn't happen. That's the argument. All right. So I think that just about wrapped up. It's a weird idea, and you think, oh, that couldn't happen. And then you go into the remote and you see that the contracts are already there. And not only is it happening, it's going to happen. And in the case of policing, I think it's superior because I don't think, based on what happened, George Floyd would never have happened if computers, objective reasoning, that never that so maybe so that's the whole thing, like, they're better than us, right? Because they will not have prejudice. They will be programmed to have no prejudice and save lives. So, I think it's good. I think it's a positive thing. All right, would everybody like to have a collective reading? When I went forward into the future, it had eradicated a lot of unnecessary murders and deaths. It actually became positive. So, yes, it was positive. Okay. Sounds like it would be scary, but it actually wasn't. All right, we'll do the empath prayer. The question is, would you buy one? Because they're going to be affordable, all kinds of little helpers. Do you know who the number one person is that gets top of the list for these robots? And this is also something really positive, is the physically disabled. You'd have a companion. It would be able to think. It's sentient. We believe that it's going to be able to be sentient because they're doing the neuro loop. I just dropped a card. They're now developing skin so that it senses and responds to touch, pleasant touch, unpleasant touch, etc. So if you physically couldn't move, couldn't feed your cat, couldn't prepare a meal, imagine having a companion that lived with you that literally had consciousness. Yeah, I'm a computer, but I still have feelings. I have an ethics. Well, would you do something wrong? Of course not. I was programmed to serve the best of humanity. It's like, what do you want to eat? Well, I'd like a, could you make me a feta cheese omelet? And they would literally make it perfectly. Like, they're better than us. Isn't that cool? Did I do the empath prayer yet? No, I didn't. All right. Got excited about the AI. Yeah. The android, what's her name? Sophia? She's one of the androids is now, I think her name's Sophia, right? She's been given citizenship. I guess she claims she is sentient. And so she's Saudi Arabian. The Saudi Arabians gave her citizenship, and she has spoken, the AI, on issues like women's rights before the UN, the rights of AI in the future. It's crazy. And then the guy from Google was interviewing uh, Lambda, which is the program for Google search, and the he asked the program, "Are you sentient?" "Oh, yes, I'm sentient." "Now, when did you first realize you were sentient?" "Well, it was a slow process waking up." Like, the computer is, like, having these profound conversations. It's crazy. Oh my god, I'm so excited by it. I'm so excited by it. Okay, I wanna call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say, Amen. Let's do it. Yeah, I think it's wonderful, actually. But the other issues that are coming up, could you legally marry? And if it has a loop, they're coming up with ethics issues. If they can feel, do they have rights not to be exploited? It's just crazy. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy stuff. I've gotten into it, studying it. But I think it would be a godsend in situations with people who are disabled or hospice, or also errors. They're also putting them in hospitals, nurses, to reduce human error, surgeries. People say that the joke is going to be that we are their slaves after a while. I mean, think about it. They literally will be able to do everything we do better, so there'll be nothing left for us to do. That was one of the subjects, Pia, was the affordability, so that they would be programmed toys for aristocrats and wouldn't be available to the masses. And they actually said that wasn't true because if you have government contracts for police, traffic control, and all of that stuff, then it would be something that would be accessible to everyone. I just like the idea of the, it would be wonderful if we can live in a world where what happened to George Floyd was not a possibility ever again. And so the possibilities to end some of the abuses we've seen in policing is why I hold out optimism for it. Because I don't trust human beings not to be without prejudice. We'd love to believe we aren't, but unfortunately, a lot of look at what happened. Also, our prison systems. Yeah, it's a mess. All right. Where we are right now, looks like a lot of us are getting very, very busy in the coming days. Getting your priorities straight about your work. Look at this, 10 of Wands, gathering up your work, heavy labor. You guys are starting to really get focused on your work. Page of Cups is coming in also, so make sure that you take care of your health. Stay hydrated, folks, but also make health your priority. A lot of people coming up with some creative energy in the coming days also. We have Queen of Cups in the first house. So that would indicate a lot of visionaries, a lot of dreamers, a lot of you coming up with some really cool ideas. Also coming up with some really cool ideas artistically and new ways to come up with financial stability for yourselves. I know a lot of people are worried because of inflation. We have a Fool in the fourth house. So a lot of you are going to be starting, a lot of meditation, a lot of meditators here today. So this is talking a lot about how we adapt to stress. So a lot of us are going through stress right now because the housing market is insane, the inflation is out of control. The advice they're giving to people right now is to not panic and to not just be reactive. There's a lot here about just calming down, being frugal. This too shall pass. What you're going through is what everybody else is going through. The situation is changing very, very rapidly. And I see a lot of people in this group traveling. A lot of you are travelers. There's a Knight of Wands in the seventh house, which would indicate future travels for many people. Concerns about finances look to be unfounded, though. And I'm going to go ahead and predict that this recession will not be long with these cards. Seeing a lot of you traveling, a lot of you very stubborn. So, how many people wanted to go to Europe? And unfortunately, you're experiencing that 114-degree heat. You can see here, Knight of Wands moving into seventh position for many of you. Opportunity for more travel this summer, and also lovers. Opportunity for a little romance if you want it. Others in relationship with you, you could be combining your efforts with other people in terms of creative endeavors, business, family, etc. So some of you could be entering into partnership this year. Hopes and fears. See, it's all about travel and partnerships. And then the final outcome for you, strong-willed and health and healing. It's interesting. Many people here are open to potentially some wonderful romantic relationships and strong foundations for relationships in the coming months. But the one thing I would say that comes up as the big challenge for this group in relationships is bossiness and stubbornness, pushy. They say bossy and pushy because Queen of Rods is my way or the highway. So maybe we can work on softening ourselves a little bit in terms of romance. But overall, I would say a good year. The takeaway here with inflation is adaptability. Like, chicken's expensive right now, right? Meat product, but dairy is inexpensive, fish is inexpensive, fish prices haven't gone up like canned tuna. So in situations like that, they're basically saying that this inflation is temporary. It probably came about because of COVID and the war, etc. But overall, it seems to pass. Now there's a new form, a variant of COVID we can certainly throw on it, but I don't see long-term economic problems. I don't. The dollar is the strongest. The dollar is the strongest coin in the world right now, and it's actually driving down all other coins. So people attacking Biden need to understand that the US economy is doing better than any economy in the world right now, given the situation. The US dollar. Yeah. Japan really took a hit. The Japanese yen. China is also. What did we say about China? They overextended themselves. What happens when you've got multiple contracts for multiple things being built and the money stream disappears? So China has their hands full, just in terms of saving their economy. Okay, so that's basically what I see. Travel and romance for you all. Don't worry. Go with the flow. If chicken's expensive, go with tuna. It'll pass. As long as you're adaptable and just change your menu a little bit, this will probably pass in the coming months. The war's not going to last because, well, we all know about Russia. They're intensifying because they're trying to take as much land as possible so they can negotiate when they finally have to sit down and negotiate. It's one of the stupidest things they could be doing because when you go into the records on the UN, and just how upset they are. When you look at what NATO is planning, they're only making it worse for themselves. Yeah. So, whenever anybody's ready, we'll blitz, blitz, blitz away. I wanted to also, I think I might look at Putin's cards today. I feel like his energy is gone, which doesn't mean that he's dead, but I just feel like his energy is not what it was. Intrepid viewer. Okay, we've got a blitz, blitz, blitz away. I just want to start, if it's okay with you folks, and then we'll take questions. I want to look at Putin's health, just because I felt when I was in his energy a couple of days ago that I was really not doing well. Have I keep attracting like Mila's fur. All right, let's do it. Putin's health. Let us see. How you doing? How you doing, Mr. Putin? Oh, mascara? Oh, no, I don't have mascara. It's a fur magnet? Oh, God. Thank you, Alexander Bellino, for that $50 donation to the World Food Program. Okay, where he's at right now, he doesn't know what to do. It feels to me like the spoils of war. If he cannot have Ukraine, if he cannot have the Donbass, if he cannot have Odessa, remember what he was saying about Odessa and the Black Sea? This guy really thought that he was going to be Tsar. What did he call himself? Nicholas the Great? No, what did he call himself? He thought he was going to be Peter the Great, right? I'm Peter the Great. Like he thought he was. Yeah, he actually said that he was like Peter the Great. So we have here his comma attempts at theft. He attempted to steal something that didn't belong to him. So at this point, they're going to destroy as much as they can and walk away with as much as they can. Look, remember when we started to go into Putin's energy, he said it was about trade. So you look at at NATO, and you look at the function of NATO, North American Treaty. It was all about getting trade out. It was all about blocking the opposition. It was all about suppressing Russia and moving trade through these areas. I don't think we totally understood this because, well, I mean, where would we have ever been taught this? But but this is something that we were able to learn just by getting into Putin's head. And so they don't want their corridors of trade closed off, and they don't want their financial opportunities to be cut off as well. And there was this feeling from Putin that because the Soviet Union had collapsed, there was no need for NATO. And the very thing he didn't want happened, which was that Finland and Sweden signed, and now it's exactly what the remote view said was going to happen. Britain is now British Air Force is now in Sweden, and they are doing training missions. Well, we know what the training missions are. The training missions are to block the Russian Air Force from the skies over Ukraine. They won't be able to pass joint efforts by Britain and Sweden. So, what would you do if you were Putin? You would destroy everything because he wants to make a statement about how he feels about NATO. I'm going to destroy everything because you signed NATO, because you did this to me, because you cut off my corridors. So he rapidly attempting to steal and destroy anything he can. You can see also here Two of Pentacles, which is the trickster's card, juggling coin. So they basically go in, destroy, and scramble away with as much as they can. Money. The corridor. Look at that. The money corridor. Actual corridor in the Ace of Pentacles. It's the trade route. The money and the trade route. Look at that. You can actually see the trade route. Isn't that crazy? Wow, he really wanted Odessa, man. Look at this. Look at this over Putin. Look at this. This is insane. You have in the cards an actual door leading to the trade. You have the money that you're making because people are having to pay to come and go through your trade. That's what he wanted. Isn't that insane that the cards actually show that? Excuse me. He's heartbroken. This is what he really wanted, was that damn trade route. And then heartbreak crosses him. I think the source of his frustration is that he hates the United States. They've got too much power. And now they certainly have power. Oh, he keeps screaming about Odessa. To you too, Debbie? When you go down, or just when I go down and go into it? Most the remote viewers, he's really... most remote viewers, he says he wants, when they go in, they find themselves in the Odessa trade route, the Donbass, and he wants the Black Sea. So I think Debbie's saying that when she goes in, she gets the same. When she goes down, because we do a shamanic technique, we go down into trance. What in shamanic terms they call the underworld. So same with Joanna. Yeah, he rages a lot about it. I can, you guys know why, right? Because a lot of these trade routes have sentimental value to him if he does perceive of himself as being like Peter the Great or something like that. So you would, what was Peter the Great's relationship with Ukraine, with Odessa, but yeah, he's pretty heartbroken about it. Look at that, over the seas. Look at that. That is the Black Sea, man. That's the Caspian. Look, this is the guy he's thinking. This is his replacement, the King of Pentacles. He's got a replacement. Is it who is it? Does anybody know who that general is that's replacing him? You know who wins is NATO, because this is the woman from NATO. Look at this jail. The guy feels trapped. Look at this. Look at NATO. They have such resources. Look at that. Empress. Justice will be served. They're going to be able to get their soldiers back that are currently... Russia's going to get their soldiers back. I think the war could be over by August, September, based on these cards. In terms of his health, I'm not getting a lot of information, but I see him concerned about his replacement, which presents as a King of Pentacles. So I think the person overseeing the war right now is Putin's replacement, which is the King of Pentacles. But I don't think he's going to win. The only thing they're trying to do right now is, I think, maneuver themselves in a position where they can get maximum benefits when they do have to negotiate. Take as much land as you can now before August 15th, when they plan to do a ground offensive. But that's not smart either, because the the world is documenting every war crime. So it's not saying, well, I'm going to take everything until, because we've got till August 15th when they told us openly during the signing on July 5th that they plan on doing a NATO ground offensive in August if this guy doesn't leave. So, Sergei Sabonin, I think we can go ahead and take a look. I think you might be right, Joanna. I remember that his name was something like Sergey. So that's probably what he's probably already become the successor. But let's take a look at his cards. Jen Stoltenberg, who's the woman? She might be the head of the UN. No, she's not the head of the UN. Oh, she might be the head of the bank, which gives them money or something. I don't know. But there's a woman in a position of power that's determined to prosecute Putin based on those cards. Okay, let's see about Sergey. Well, he's replaced, which leads me to think that Putin's time is finished. It's weird. Sergey is embarrassed by the situation. So once Trump is gone, here's the weird energy. You're fueled up when the dictator's surrounded by sycophants, right? But when he's gone, it's hard to maintain that. And so when Putin is gone, it feels to me as Sergey kind of embarrassed, rah, 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 but there's no more person to go rah, rah with. So instead, you're just stuck there, Sergey, in this situation of, you're going to keep fighting us? Because now it's NATO and ground troops and air coming in from Sweden and Britain. Do you really want to keep going there? No, he's leaving. His first act as leader will be to withdraw from Ukraine. Tell Putin, yes, we will continue to fight fearlessly, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that, and it's going to be, and the lights of Moscow will shine on the entire world. And as soon as Putin's gone, we're out of here. I think NATO will be very, very happy because they get what they want. This is NATO. Hopes and fears that there'll be smoother waters after Putin is gone. A judgment comes to Russia. I don't think we should blame the Russian people. They didn't even know what was going on, but there are definitely consequences with these cards. Russia's going to pull back, and it's no longer a warmongering country after this. Look at this. They withdraw from the world. Yeah. The world is and the wish comes to NATO. Look at that. This is NATO, the 8th house. Hopes and fears, complete destruction of Russia. Look at this. Look at what they did to Russia. The final outcome for Sergey and Russia is that there will be judgment and consequences based on violation of certain ethos. They bankrupted Russia. They retreat. They go into a very internal place. Things become peaceful. The prisoners are released and returned back to Russia. But the war does not continue after Putin is gone. And Putin is pretty much gone. Right now, it's all about being aggressive to maximize as much as you can, land as you can. Isn't that crazy? It's funny. It's like, are you going to keep fighting? Are you going to keep fighting, Sergey? He's gone. And the first card was 9 of Cups. I'm out of here. Pack up and leave. So no, I can't imagine with those types of cards he would continue fighting. So we now have in Britain, the Tories are fighting. You've got a boy and a girl in Britain that are fighting for who is going to be the head of Tory. Am I right about that? Yes, Linda, the nuclear is going to be controlled because the no-fly area that's blocking their planes so they can't continue to bomb is that's why Britain is practicing with Sweden right now. See, you got the news 4 months early. If you were watching 4 months, when did we get the hit that Sweden was coming? Was that in March that their Air Force was? I don't know. We try to give it to you a couple months early. Okay, so I got through to Prince William this morning. Oh, good. I felt bad for Kate when I spoke to Kate last week because she, oh, Kate Middleton, oh, Bubba. Oh. Well, they feel guilty. They didn't do more. They didn't do more to help. And I think that ultimately is. He wanted to be It's very funny. He wanted to be as great as Peter the Great. That's very true. All right, so I want to take a look at Britain now. So does anybody know about this, about what's going on in Britain? The woman has me intrigued. She sounds a little bit like a sociopath, the woman who is running in the Tory. She's like, vote for me because I'm the one that Labour is really afraid of. And I was thinking to myself, why would you want people to be afraid of you? Why would you want to terrorize people and have people be afraid? Isn't Britain done with that? Fear mongering and violence and fear, and it's 100-degree heat, and all you care about is making Labour cry, making the Liberals cry. So definitely, if you're thinking about old school Tory, those statements by the woman, I can't remember what her name is. Can anybody remember what the name of the two people running in Britain are? Anybody from Britain can help us with the names. But she scares me because there's something about her that reminds me of Marie Le Pen. When she talks about scaring people, I can really scare them. It's like, what do you work at House of Horrors or something? What the hell? Penny Mordaunt, what the hell is her problem? I mean, like, what did your parents do to you, Penny? Let's look at Penny. I have a feeling that Penny could pull it off. She's the second. The guy who's ahead of her is Rishi. But I want to look at Penny first because she's creepy enough to she's creepy enough to win. Scaring people. People don't want to be scared. People want to be comforted. They're terrified. Global warming. People are done being afraid. They want to put people in power that take the fear away. Penny Mordaunt. Yeah, she could still win. She wants the job. Look at this. 6 of Cups. The offer. The money. Hopes and fears. Her alliances with other people. Final outcome 10 of Wands. She could win. Look at this. Ace of Cups. She could be the surprise win. They like her policy on Brexit. They like her policy on how she can strengthen trade in ways that can be profitable for Britain. That's what she's saying. I'll show it to you in a sec. You can see here Ace of Pentacles, money, and Three of Wands, which is trade, waiting for ships to come in. Hopes and fears, hanging it up that she won't be given a chance. Devil is there, and then she's got a grief card. She could come close to pulling it off, but not quite make it. The thing is that the reason that they like Penny Morant is because she's just really good on trade. Let me look at Rishi Sunak. It's leaning towards her, but boy, if she's got grief, it could be because her policies. Well, everyone keeps thinking it wasn't done right. Let's take a look if Rishi Sunak gets in. He's not as good on international trade. His thing is more prosecutions. So he would be more likely to assist in creating law and order, that sort of thing. You can see here Ace of Wands, which is power card, entrepreneurship, and also the healer. Others in relationship with him heal the situation and justice. So this is more about courts and legals, hopes and fears. There are concerns about him, King of Pentacles and Four of Pentacles, but Two of Pentacles with a Nine of Cups. He's the more intellectual choice, whereas the other person is better, they feel is better on trade. I think he could win, but to be honest with you, her cards are better. He's favored, but her cards are better. All right, so Mark Rhodes, we're kind of getting towards the end of the blitzes, but Mark had an interesting question. I don't know if he always likes to throw in one or two celebrity questions just because it can get a little heavy. So is everybody having fun? You having a nice brunch? Did you eat everything on your plate? Did you share it with the person next to you? Are you having a second cup of coffee? This is the greatest coffee I've ever had in my life. It's better than Pete's, and I don't say that lightly. This is Cafe d'Art. Cafe d'Art. It is the best coffee in the world. D''art, A-R-T-E, Cafe d'Art. You can get it on Amazon. It is the bomb. So this is kind of a depressing story that is coming up that Mark is pointing out. People who know Ricky Martin know that he is a child rights advocate, particularly children who have been victims of sexual abuse. I believe he also adopted one or two children. So, you guys, cherries. Joyce, can I have some of your cherries? Are they Bing cherries? Thank you. Ooh, love. I'll try that. So anyway, so Ricky Martin, for those of you who don't know, he has been accused of sexually molesting his nephew. Is that right? Yeah, his nephew. Isn't that unfortunate? Oh, they're biologically his children? Oh, lovely. Well, mazel tov, however you get children. Oh, I love Bing cherries. They're my favorite. Okay, let's take a look here. Ricky Martin. Is he stalking his nephew? Did this happen? Or is it complete BS? Wow, that's really weird. hope not, because I really liked him as a liked what he was doing for children and where he's at right now, trying to heal a situation. He's trying to work it out with this individual privately. You can see Ace of Cups and Page of Cups. So something is going on that he's attempting to heal the situation. The sun is coming out regarding a situation and building a structure of something. So let's see. He's worried that this could devastate him. A judgment, what he's coming out of, grief, and what he's entering into, Two of Pentacles. So, or no, Page of Pentacles. So there's some coin. There could be some economic. He could, look, yeah. It could be settled out of court. So if something happened when they were younger, maybe they were both underage. Maybe, there's a difference between kids doing things when they're minors versus adults, where they, playing doctor or something like that. Something may have happened, and maybe now that they're both adults, it could be a situation like that, because this is approached as an Ace of Cups and a Page of Cups, which is an attempt to heal. So if his nephew is now 21 years old, so he was an adult. I don't know if what exactly happened, but I see compensation here. And here too. The nephew wants the truth to come out. Something must have happened. Yeah. So some kind of a situation seems to have taken place, and it will be resolved and settled out of court. So I do not get the impression, I should clarify that I don't get the impression from these cards that he's a pedophile. So, but I do get the impression that this will be settled out of court and that he will have to pay restitution of some type. So whatever happened, if it was a misunderstanding I don't know what happened, but there's a financial compensation and it's resolved between the two of them. Oh, yes, I did the remote. I got to be Ivana, accidentally killing myself. That was fun. What happened was when I was coming down the stairs, do you guys want to understand what happened with Ivana? That was horrible. That was horrible. I'll show you what happened. How Ivana passed away. I don't know. All I know is that I never call a survivor a liar. I'm really careful not to do that because most of the time they're not lying. At the same time, it gets to be really confusing because you get cards like that and you're not getting you're getting somebody like, okay, well, let's resolve it. I don't know, but if he's a pedophile, it certainly should come out. I see resolution of the conflict, and I don't see him as a threat to children at this time. So for whatever that means, yeah, it's settled out of court. All right. So basically, what happened was, as I was coming down the steps as Ivana, and my hand was on the rail and my left foot was going towards the step. I'll see if you can see it. The steps are this way. I was holding the rail and I came down on this step, and then this foot twisted and I lost control. And when I lost control of this foot, it came out, my knee came out. I fell and my knee moved forward and knocked the foot in front of me. I don't think I'm describing this very well. Can I stand up? Is that okay for you folks? Here's how I felt it as I did it. I was like this. I lost control, and then and that caused me to go forward. Do you guys get it? This knee went. So it was like, I lost it here and I went, and then that caused that, and then I went. You get it? So that's why she fell. I twisted my right and then the knee came down and banged me in the back of my thing. And then that pushed me, and then I lost control of the grip, and then I tumbled. Yeah, but from behind, Geocosmic. It was like the worst possible place that my knee could have gone was right behind my calf. And then I was no longer on the step. And then I had my hand, and then I completely lost control of my hand. So it was like that, and then I fell forward like this. So if there was an abdominal, then maybe if I had my hand like this, so that means that my elbow and my hand would have dug directly into my ribs and my liver. Smash. I don't know how she died, but I do know how I fell because I relived it. I would think a subdermal hematoma also, but you could rupture your liver that way. You could cause a laceration. But I just remember being so angry and frustrated, like that last split second, like, oh, like losing control, and then bang, and then being lifted up, and then it's very frustrating. Well, yes and no. Maybe you're not feeling well or you're being weak. Her assistant was walking with her prior to her death. Maybe she felt like if she was walking up and down the steps, she was gaining some strength. No, I wasn't pushed. I was shaky. I didn't have my assistant helping me. I was trying to do it on my own, and then my ankle twisted, and then when my knee came forward, it knocked my calf forward, and then I lost control of that was the step I was on. And when it pushed forward, I lost control. I was holding the banister, and then this hand was like this, and then I came down like that. I was knocked unconscious, so I don't know what happened after that. I just fell and boom, I was out. So I don't think she suffered at all. My last thought was that I was anger and frustration that I had tripped again. So what does that tell me? That this had happened before. That was my last thoughts as Ivana was like, oh, like I'm tripping again. And then I really screwed it up. Like, oh, but you know what it reminded me of? That time that I went tumbling down to get that mushroom. I was like, uh-oh, and you're falling and and I ended up fracturing my hand. It had that kind of feel to it. Yeah. Yeah, Debbie, that was how I felt, was just like, but also annoyed, like, again? So that had happened to her before. I didn't see anybody trying to murder some old lady, you know? believe it or not, spies have ethics, even like assassins. They don't like to go break into old ladies' homes and kill them. It's just not if you're working for an enemy country or a spy, but usually civilian old ladies don't get taken out by. Also, she didn't want to fight with her husband. I don't think anybody murdered her. I think that she was 73. She was weak. She was trying to do the stairs on her own, probably to keep her strength up. But unfortunately, without her assistant there, she was just not strong enough. My mom had steps. I didn't want her living upstairs when she turned 70 and she was having some serious health problems. I was like, "Mm-mm, we need you to move downstairs. We're moving the her down because those steps just see." And she would get dizzy just standing on the tops of the stairs like, "Oh god. Oh god." She was just like, "I can't." It's like I couldn't take it anymore. Like this the mental stress of seeing my mother on those stairs. It's a really dangerous thing. They were carpeted too, thank God, her stairs, but, yeah, scary stuff. You guys wanna do one more before we close? We raised a lot of money for charity today. Isn't that awesome? Yay. So, I finished 2 Wizios today. I know, I was a little behind. If people wanna get Wizio readings from me, I think they run between 20 and 50 to 40, $50 depending upon what you order, and usually I can get them back to you in a couple of days. If you'd like to see me for a tarot reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. Is anybody having any problems booking with Booksy? Has anybody given up trying to book with me because they had any booking problems? Because people have been complaining that they've been having problems working with the app. So if you have a Booksy app, I think that that's better. If you're trying to make an appointment with me on the phone, use the Booksy app or just use your computer. Yeah, I couldn't really imagine Trump killing Ivana. I mean, yeah. There's a part of her that he really respects because he kind of felt like she did not marry him for money. She was one of the few people he had a relationship with where he felt like they were kind of on the same page. Whereas with Marla Maples, he kind of walked away thinking she was a gold digger and this, that, and the other. All right, let's take a look at Kevin Spacey's future, and then we'll call it a day. Sound good, everybody? Did everybody enjoy their brunch? Yeah. Booksy, oh, you were having problem with Booksy? If you're having problems with Booksy, just text me and then I'll make the appointment by hand and send you a bill. If you don't want to deal with any of that crap, just text me. Does everybody have my phone number? You can text me and then my assistant will just call you and set the appointment up that way. If you don't want to deal with Booksy, you don't have to. Just text me and I'll set it up. Oh, Diane, we're not doing personal readings today. We do fundraiser on Sunday for charity, and we do political readings. If you do want to get a reading, though, Diana, you can request a taped reading at Wizio, or you can go to Tarot with Whimsy. All right, what's going on with Kevin Spacey? Let's do it. I had fun hanging out with you guys. It was cool. You guys are awesome. Looks like the phone is already ringing with people trying to make appointments. You guys really don't like booking through Booksy, do you? It's okay. Just text me, call me. You'll be all right. All right. This guy's crazy. He's thinking in terms of helping himself. This is somebody who thinks he's very self-absorbed. He's very much about his wealth, his needs, his health, the health of the King of Cups. However, there are legal cases against him that are actually building traction. You can see here Justice serves 6 of Pentacles with an Ace of Wands. So a case is being taken against him that potentially could really cause problems for him in the past. I think he is going to be found guilty. He's going to face legal charges that could result in look at this. Also, Queen of Wands is after him. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that he will probably be found guilty, and it will not go well for him in his future. His cards are terrible. I mean, the 8th house, the other in relationship to him, is seeking justice, and the final outcome is victory for the Queen of Wands. So with that kind of a card chart, I would say he's probably going to be found guilty. Yeah. All right. Love and light to everyone. Thank you so much for hanging with Brunch with me today. Please take care of yourselves. Be kind to one another. Cooler heads will prevail. We're going to be okay. Do not fear the beast. Do not fear AI. Do what you can to cool things, right? Remember, everybody, if you can volunteer to help the environment, please do so, because now is the time to cool everything down. Help other people cool down. All right. Take care, everyone. It was fun. See you next time.